Can you get in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
How you doing, Captain?
How you doing?
Not too bad. Do you have a mask, Tilly?
I don't.
Oh, okay. So, how's
You
life
insulting
been?
the poor girl?
Yeah, you know, we're worried
Yeah,
that,
he is.
I was, yeah, she pisses on beds. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So the first thing that this administration did is they went and checked out all the rooms, went on the bed, and decided to mark a territory. But,
Mock the territory.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
She marked her territory. Be specific.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this city is good for power-hungry people.
Yeah, you're not wrong. How's your, how have you been?
I've been good. Went back
Yeah.
to New York, back working there.
All right. I'd been meaning to have a chat with you for some time, and to give you a little bit of context, I'd been running as a practicing law for some time, and there's a lot of things that were coming up that were concerning to me, and as I was trying to get legislation changed, etc., I wasn't able to really get context as to some of the decisions that were being made, both within the police department, etc. And I really wanted to get some insight as to what had happened. By understanding that would give me better foresight as to what needs to happen, at least from a legislative perspective. As things
Okay.
sort of continued on, it came. I took the mantle to try to. I took part in getting Constitution changed, a lot of law changed. And
Finally
ultimately,
get Max out of here.
yeah, that guy was a piece.
You're telling me. Before we talk too much, anybody have anything I can snack on? I'm starving.
Yeah, I got a little extra. Hold on.
Oh my God! Oh, I got something. There we go. I might, honestly, making her chief and then getting the 3 captains might be the best thing ever, to be honest. Even if it's interim.
I'm okay. I was just really hungry.
I like low key, I would do that. All right. I'm being honest. I think that'd be sick RP.
Is Slack still around?
He's in ICU at the moment.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he fell down a mountain.
So
Sounds like Slacks.
he
He always
How-
was a bit of a club.
He's out of commission.
yeah. How up to date are you with some of the happenings?
I don't really know many specifics. I've kind of heard bits and pieces. I heard about, this new Marshall thing, the DOJ overtaking the PD and things like that.
I don't want to dive too deep because how things came to be, I think is relevant, but the specifics maybe not so much. Archibald, could you grab a? Let me let Tilly in. There you go, Tilly.
Thank you. Is it better?
Yep, you bet it.
Good.
So kind of to speed run through some of the big pieces. I've had issue with Max since the first month. I had a Los Santos Customs, 60 employees, independent mechanic shop, perhaps the first real business in the city.
Yeah, you were the other one, not that one that was ran by those old shitty cops from the old PD. There was one down by the airport.
Yeah.
One of the 2 mechanic shops.
That's right. And we had a lot of, I brought a lot of something, and it was a home for a lot of people that want to do more than just, every day, go work for the toll lot or whatever. And it was good movement. We had a strong understanding of how to gather materials, how to market things, and we were going against the grain of leaning into communism, which is, the government pays for all the jobs. And unfortunately, the chief of staff at the time, Juno Sweeney, had some personal issues with Eve Summers, my niece, sitting right there. And she whispered in Max's ear, and I was standing right where you were. And after giving him a 30-minute presentation on the overviews of the economics in the city, et cetera, he looked at me in the eye and said, "Why are you not bringing up Eve Summers?" And I said, What do you mean? He said, he's one of your investors. She wasn't, at least as far as I know. And he decided to indefinitely prevent me from getting a business license. And from that moment, I realized, and I think what most of the city realized, was this was a man with a very small penis, and he wanted to try to make everyone think it was otherwise.
You're telling me.
So,
Tried to force, told officers they'd be fired if they didn't arrest me for treason because I told him he decided he was in charge of the PD. So in this office, I stood right here and I said to him, so that means as 3 captains, we can just vote to say we're above the mayor? And he said that was treason. And threatened officers their jobs
What?
if they didn't arrest me, and Barrick decided to investigate it.
Of
Seems
course
like
it was
a lot for
Barrick.
loose talk.
How do you think he got made chief of police?
not surprised. Barrick, right prior to this meeting, admitted that he was trying to suck my dick for 6 weeks. I wasn't expecting him to.
I mean, he
admit
knows how to
that.
play the politics game of just trying to do what people want. That's why he investigated. I mean, Crane himself even stated what I said was not treason, but Max decided to push it and threatens officers' jobs over it. So he decided to look into it. I opened up the MDT. There was a report of an investigation into me, so I suspended myself pending the investigation. The captains had all agreed I'd be suspended once I hit the docket, but I felt like once there was a report in the MDT, I shouldn't have access to look at that, so I suspended myself. And then Max made Barrick
Bro,
chief
I
of
already
police,
want to
I
put her
didn't
in.
feel like I belonged to you anymore.
The entire city has suffered under his reign. What you may or may not have heard is the man made the entire UPD his personal military. And
I saw that coming from the start when I challenged his authority. He started screaming at me and kicked us out of the office because mostly me, a little bit of Turner. Slacks started to back us up, but once the mayor overturned the votes to fire Cornwood after he unloaded a clip plus an extra bullet into somebody for Sam Bass, and the person died, once he decided that, he shouldn't be fired for that.
Oh, that's why me and Cornwood jive. Fuck Bass.
Turner and Slacks just let it happen.
He fucking killed my cat. I don't want to, Bass killed my cat a long time ago.
Well, Cornwood decided to try to kill a man because he felt like shooting an extra bullet for Sam Bass, so.
Jesus. Whatever happened to Bass?
People told me he was dead.
He died.
Oh.
A bomb.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Jesus
Bomb on
fucking
MRPD.
Christ.
He tried to disable it and he died.
Captain
Never met
Ruth,
the man.
could you, do you mind if, I can ask you, could you openly tell me, like, what was your perception before Max put his hands into things? What was your original plan, you and the 3 captains? Like, how did you envision, building up a police department?
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to build, hire people in, see what people were capable of, and promote the right people. We didn't want to just have positions and fill them because they were open. We wanted people to earn them. So we each kind of picked a shift, and we kind of focused on our shift. There was some issues with Turner and Slacks pretty much saying I couldn't do anything on my own. I had to go through them type of thing because there was 3 of us, and they would see each other in shift 2, and I was alone for pretty much all of shift 1. Was the only person who really focused on shift 1 at all and trying to build it up. Our goal was putting people in place, trying to get people up the ranks and build the PD to a place where it was healthy, not just put people in who didn't know what they were doing, didn't understand PC versus RS, which is always a huge issue in the PD. we wanted to build it right the first time. Take our time doing it and do it well. The issues kind of started arising when we didn't see face-to-face. Turner had to take a bit of an LOA, and we didn't get to talk as much, so that delayed a lot because the three captains were not on the same page and we never saw each other much.
Mm.
We did move a little bit slowly at the beginning, although we did have holidays to fight with. Christmas and New Year's threw a wrench in the works of a lot of what we were doing.
Mm.
But Slacks had said probably about 6 months to get a fully fleshed out all members of command, which probably was accurate. We were planning on, before Max stepped in, I think in the next week or two, we were planning on promoting our first rounds of sergeants and lieutenants.
Mm.
So our goal was just promote within, make sure everybody was trained up before they got promoted, instead of just promoting them because we assumed they'd know what we wanted. That was pretty much our goal, hold officers accountable, not let officers go out there, violate our citizens' rights. We wanted to train them and keep them in line and enforce a strict chain of command. One of the biggest issues in the PD, and it still happens, was officers not following chain of command. Hence why several officers went to the mayor to complain about high command instead of actually bringing it up the chain of command.
Yeah, they still do that today. It's actually why Barrick's going to be removed from his position very soon.
I mean, there's no point in having a chain of command if you're just going to skip it anyway.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things we were trying to focus on, is forcing people to kind of go through the chain.
Mm.
Yeah, that was pretty much our vision. Have a PD that knew what they were doing, didn't violate people's rights, pressed the right charges, and went hard on big crimes.
As president, the powers that be, the federal and state government, they have created 2 counties, their own set of jurisdictions. There is state law, the Constitution, the series of laws that they've made, but each jurisdiction, each county, is able to establish its own set of laws, and they have their own departments, LSPD and BCSO. Each one is mandated to adhere, when they are in someone else's county, to adhere to their law. If a crime starts in Los Santos and enters into Blaine County, they have the ability to cross into there, but that arrest is, and the laws that, govern the
where
charges.
they were arrested, they'd follow those laws. That makes sense.
Where the crime originated.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's another big boulder here, which is inherently, if you... This set of paperwork right here in the tablet on my desk for state finances. I'm dealing with a situation where the previous administration treated it like an abacus that was shook around and then placed on the table and said, good enough. We're in crippling debt. The state was losing about $5 million on a daily basis, and the only thing protecting it was offshore accounts that was, band-aiding it. Now, why this kind of relates with law enforcement is it inherently means that outside of the money that's being generated by businesses in Los Santos, our budget is strongly tied to arrests being made in the city, but also ensuring that those arrests remain charged appropriately. So in other words, if there was a $250,000 drug bust in Los Santos, and that went into Blaine County, and some sheriff thought it was funny to arrest that person under their bullshit, that's a $250,000 into their pocket, not ours. Which means every resident of Los Santos gets hurt. That the LSPD directly loses $250,000. An appropriation from that. If things are running well in the city, everyone in the city gets paid well. If things are not running well in Blaine County, they hurt. You kind of see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Unfortunately, that also means that there is going to be a natural tension between both counties and both police departments. While there may be while there is a strong importance in both counties working with each other, there is real problems that will present itself where we're going to be in disagreement, or you know,
The only thing is, so say you have county cops, they arrest somebody in the city, did those funds go towards their budget if they're the ones that do the arrest?
it depends on where the crime originated. So if the people in Blaine County
To be
came down,
fair,
Mhm.
if you do a crime up in Blaine County, you start fleeing, you're probably going to do other crimes. How do you kind of split that?
well, that's where the politics come into play, and that's probably where the division lines will be created. You know, I know this is not going to be kumbaya, and I promise you, a lot of people think it will, and it's needed, but it's just not. It doesn't jive with reality, right? It's going to be a matter of who's going to get fed, and
Yeah.
now,
I mean, I guess the start of the crime, whoever. So even if the county people catch it in the city, if it was a city crime, the money would go towards the city.
it should, but there's, you never know what
Logistics
people are
behind
going to
that,
do.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that's going to be a big issue because then that pretty much means the county cops are probably never going to come to the city because they're not going to get anything out of it.
Well, it's funny you say that because the first an hour into my swearing in, I was asked for fast cause. And right now we are facing a epidemic of officers not understanding RS&PC, losing court cases. They are, lying on the stand.
Is Denzel Shiesty still an officer, the one who lied and perjured himself, but nobody wanted to push it?
Yes, he's still a cop.
Okay.
So it's thing that and even worse so, the department that I'll be overseeing, it's got a lot of good officers. It really does. Vivian Gray.
A lot of it is
Mm.
if you don't have officers above them that are going to check their work and kind of hold them accountable, they're just going to let things slip because it's a lot easier to kind of not do your paperwork and to let things go. Vivian Gray is amazing. She was one of the ones both Aldo and I, we were kind of wanting to continue to promote her before we left.
Of the officers,
She's amazing.
She is. She is I have very normal conversations with her. And I can't say the same with some of the other candidates that have kind of put themselves forward. If there was somebody that you had to vouch for, what would those three names be?
3 names of officers to vouch for. Vivian Gray, absolutely. Nakota.
Yep.
Bones is now the sheriff now, I heard.
Well, kind of.
What
Officially.
do you mean kind of? Officially.
I've yet to hear him say a singular word. He has other people speak on his behalf.
Really? You know, maybe he's just trying to embolden the people beneath him.
I hope so. I don't know him well enough yet, but
I'm trying to think of the roster.
Sky Faye, do you know any? I've yet to meet her, but I've heard good things.
I never really met her. I heard good things about her as well.
Anita May.
I think Anita's great. I don't know if she's fully at the level of like Vivian as of right now.
I
haven't seen her obviously in months though.
McNulty.
I like McNulty, but he had some issues where he doesn't like to hold other officers accountable, it seems like. Seemed a little soft to me.
Really? Interesting. Like protective.
Yeah, he very thin blue line type of thing.
Yeah, Denzel actually brought that word up to me, and I screamed at him and told him never say that in my presence again. I don't think he understood what that word meant. I think, or that phraseology. Okay. Captain, What are the chances of me being able to entice you to come back to the force?
I think my time is done here. I feel like I've done all I could do for this department.
What about a consultancy position in the cabinet?
I don't think so. I'm really needed back in New York.
Okay. It's I think this city lost. City losing you was a very big stain, and I want you to know that there's people outside the department that saw that.
Yeah, I felt like I did what I could, but the city is full of power-hungry people and people who enable them.
Yeah.
Saw that firsthand through Max
Yeah.
in his tyranny.
Yeah. It's
Trying to think of another good officer. I feel like a lot of them left as well.
yeah. There's
I think most of, or at least half a
Trying to
shift
think,
one
like,
left
who
around
else?
when I left.
How's Turner been?
I even talked to him.
Oh, Ruby.
Ruby's a tough one. I don't think she's great in a position high up because she seems to be the type to kind of... She has her stances, but there's certain people that she'll always kind of go with what they want, and she sometimes likes to just tell you what you want to hear.
Holy fuck. Eve, Abby, Billy, Archie, any names that we're forgetting?
I don't know about names so much. I had a few questions, but I don't know if you want to get to that
Yeah,
yet.
please.
Okay, well, the few questions that I did have were nullified by one of the latest statements of Miss Ruth's no longer interested in trying to serve the department, and I just wanted to assure her that it won't be the same department that you previously experienced with Mr. Chavez as mayor.
I see that, but I also see the marshals. One of the stances, one thing I had told Max is I feel like there needs to be separation of power, and the DOJ being above the PD, I feel like is a big issue that is going to cause a lot of issues within the PD.
Well, Mr. Chavez, is that correct? The marshals are like, I don't know if they're necessarily structured above the PD. They just have
No, they have
the investigative privilege.
And they can take over things from the PD as well as investigate the PD.
yeah.
What?
So is she? Ruth is right. Like they may not be from like an org chart. They may not be. They may be parallel with the LSPD, but they are indirectly have oversight of the PD due to the fact that they can effectively detain an officer, investigate them, and have the power to remove them.
I mean, all I see is this is an issue. They're creating that to hold the PD accountable, but then what happens when they're the ones that need to be held accountable? It just creates this upward power grab that continues to happen in the city.
I would say this to that, Miss Ruth, is the marshals right now is basically Kyle Pred, and I personally believe this is a cross that bridge when we get to a situation.
I mean, that's what everybody said about Max, though. I mean, it's head up by a judge. If it was people outside the DOJ, I'd have a little bit more faith, like an independent thing, but the fact that the judge, who is now like the head judge, is in charge of it, I feel like just creates a lot of conflict.
Well, what happened was while there was this little power vacuum in between the mayor leaving and July 3rd, some
power grab, somebody had to grab it.
Yeah.
Damn, based.
Well, all of my questions were actually going to be what you thought about the marshals and the specific individuals in there. So that
I think there does need to be something to hold the PD accountable, but I feel like that more falls with high commands, and they should be doing that type of stuff, not a DOJ PD to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair opinion. I think to Abby's point right now, we're very focused on building what we have around us, but not losing sight of what you just mentioned is very important as well.
I think, yeah, the mayorships need to kind of pay attention to that because I feel like the mayors should have some say in PD, especially funds and things like that is huge for the PD. Does the PD have a budget yet? Or still no budget since I left?
It does and doesn't. We've been I've been very strongly advocating for a certain right now the PD is paid on a per officer basis, which I think inherently is PD should
when
be
Max
managing
was in trouble,
its
he
own.
lowered our pay as low as possible and said it was fine if you worked 40 hours a week, you could pay for your repairs.
Yeah, he did the same sort of damage to medical services.
Oh yeah, he had issues with cancer. He put a hit out on her. We were investigating
Really?
that, but yeah, we investigated that, but it never went anywhere because he had all the power, so nobody could do anything.
We got 2 minutes here. Ruth, I'm gonna send you something in the next 48 hours.
Okay.
Please take a look and let me know what you think.
Okay. Well, it was nice to meet you. If you need anything, let me know. I'm just a phone call away.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
for all this
appreciate that.
insight.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah. Good luck. I hope it works out. I hope you can make a difference in this city.
It's either that or I'm gonna die trying.
Hey, you know, that's already better than the last mayor, so you
Yeah.
got that going for you.
I
You're always
appreciate
welcome back, Ruth, in any capacity.
Appreciate that.
that.
Can I
Tilly,
just say too that I feel like I'd gotten wind a lot on the things that you had endured whenever you were in the police department, and I truly feel like you did not deserve half the shit that you went through. And I think the police department lost a good one. So
Appreciate that.
okay.
Take care of yourselves. Keep yourself safe.
Thank you. You as well.
You as well.
Oh god, she's not walking out, which means awkward signs for 2 minutes. All right. What if I just do this? And I can wake up here.